pressure, baby. I just wanna pressure, baby. Yeah, man. Ideas, man. Ideas. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. Let's go. Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love, yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. Understand clearly, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. Is the trust still beginning? Fade away from beginning of the day. I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mine. Is it me considered? You that's with it. See, you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. It's so clear to see, baby, that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me.
WIIFTV-PM.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West End for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West End for the Black People Media Studios.
WIIFTV-PM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Herb Howard alongside my esteemed co-host. His name is Toussaint Werner. We get together right here with you all each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the best solutions for how we can overcome those obstacles. Again, overcome them as individuals, but more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank you all so very, very much for choosing to be here. We truly appreciate it. I don't know whose phone is ringing in the studio or why that is happening, but we still appreciate y'all being here.
It's playing one of my guys.
Yeah, Esco, stop having your guys call up here in the middle of I Said What I Said. You know what I'm saying?
Get it together, Esco.
Tell them to call.
I apologize.
You ain't gonna do nothing but curve them. Anyhow, we appreciate y'all being here. Truly, truly, truly. Thank y'all so much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible as we go through the show. We would kindly request that you all please share the conversation. Share it on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would find value in or add value to this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. It is our sincere belief that the more like-minded individuals that we can get to be a part of the conversation, the better opportunities we have of finding the optimum solutions going forward. So if you would be so kind, we would please ask you click the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, as my brother Gino from the Bigs on the Soil says, smash that share button, man. Smash that like button. Also, if you feel so inclined, you can contribute to the show by clicking on the little gold stars in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those as well. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb Howard. His name is Toussaint Werner 2. What's happening, good brother?
What down, family? I'm blessed and highly favored. How you?
Man, ain't nothing to it, man. I'm feeling pretty good. It's another week, man. Another opportunity to get this thing right. Another opportunity to walk just a little bit further in the path that God has laid out for me. And I'm happy with it, man. So I'm rolling.
Praise his name. Praise his name.
Won't he do it?
Let me hit you with a quick Monday morning funny.
Come on with it.
So last night, I ain't really big on TV. So last night, though, my wife and my daughter's in the living room watching TV. So I come downstairs, and as soon as I come down there, my wife hands me the controller. And Bella breaks out, man. It was the funniest thing in the world. She says, "No, mommy, you know he's gonna force us to watch slave movies." Man, I fell out laughing. I said, "Boy, this girl is straight."
She knows you so well. He's gonna make us watch slave movies and those.
He's gonna try to educate us, mommy. Oh my God!
Can't we just be entertained sometimes? Can't we just be entertained sometimes? Bella is absolutely hilarious, and she's probably right. What was you finna put on?
I don't know, man. I wasn't even trying to. Well, I was going to try to the Barack Obama 60 minutes conversation.
That was interesting, man. I was watching that conversation, and two things that I found to be extremely interesting about that particular conversation with
shout out to DS for the stars for the Bella pushback.
For the Bella pushback. Hey, DS always come up with the best reasons to send stars. It's the Bella pushback. It's the cussing fund. It's all kind of crap. We appreciate the V-Cut. Didn't she start the V-Cut fund?
I don't know.
When we was looking for the bros to come through.
The Bella pushback is fucking
The Bella
hilarious.
pushback fund. Love it, love it, love it. I was watching the 60 Minutes interview with President Barack Obama as well. And shout out to Sarah Mickens coming through with the stars. We appreciate that as well. He said that Abraham Lincoln, he said there's no American figure that he admires more than Abraham Lincoln. And I was like, okay. I recorded it and text you because I figured you was probably watching it. So I recorded it, but I just text you first. I'm like, he probably watching it. So I just text you. I'm like, Barack Obama just said that there is no American figure that he admires more than Abraham Lincoln. It caught my attention. Right, what do you think about that when he said that?
That sounds about right for him.
In what way?
He's a centrist, right? And Abe Lincoln gets kind of symbolically leveraged as a centrist as well. You know, they say Abe freed the slaves, but that's not really true. The slaves freed the slaves. Mm-hmm. You understand? But that's kind of the same philosophy that Barack Obama has. He plays the middle. You know what I mean? So Abe played the middle pretty goddamn well.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's fair.
But in the world where you got to pick a team, you know, it's like 63rd versus 65th. Right. You got to pick a team.
You got to pick a team.
You know what I mean? Power conversations about whose side are you on. It ain't no middle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The line has been clearly drawn.
Abe was a sly fox, right? He understood the game.
He was able to play both of those sides to the point where history remembers him well on both sides.
So in a lot of ways, it's Barack Obama-esque.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. It's funny because when we was in here last Thursday and we was in here for Trigger for Mike Brown and, you know, just in banter as me trying to be Mike Brown and Mike Brown he clearly said that's not something he would say. But, you know, I was like, Abraham Lincoln's a great man, right? And he was like, no, I wouldn't say that. But, you know, we was just kind of talking about that and his way to kind of present himself as a teammate of both sides. And perhaps there was a way to get that done in the time of Abraham Lincoln. In my opinion, my estimation, there's no way to get that done in 2020. In 2020, I think the line has so clearly been, and you know what, to be honest with you, clearly it was drawn back then too, right? But it's been so clearly defined now that I think you just got to pick your team and roll with that, right? You got to pick your team and roll with it. So this morning when I was watching the Mace Jackson show, and it was a super dope conversation, but to be honest with you, I found myself getting caught up in the comments as much as I was listening to the actual broadcast, because this conversation kind of kept evolving about how we should be responding to this idea of Rahm Emanuel being appointed a seat in the administration, the cabinet, to say, okay, well, he's Secretary of Housing or whatever it is they're gonna put him as. And it was this idea of, writing these letters, right? There was a gentleman, I forget his name, that was he repetitively, he kept posting this letter to President Joe Biden. And I read the letter, and I had no qualms with the letter. It made perfect sense, everything he said in the letter. And then I think it was Sister Zakia that was also saying, that she had started a letter, her son had started a letter, and she wanted everybody to kind of jump in and be a part of this letter writing campaign. And okay, you want to write letters? Cool, let's write letters. But how long have we been writing letters? Like, how long have we been writing letters? Do you really think that appealing to their sense of morality, appealing to their sense of moral consciousness is going to afford us any substantial change? I don't think so, right? That being said, I've decided what team I play for. And so if the team comes to a consensus that we want to write letters, fine, I'll put my name on it. I'm on the team, right? So let's write the letters. I don't think any change is going to come from that. I think there's two choices here. I think we can either hit them in their pockets or we can hit them in their face. I don't think there's any other way to do this thing. Hit them in their pockets or hit them in their mouth. Nothing else is going to work, right? All this letter writing and appealing to their sense of moral, it's as if they don't know what's happening here, right? Or let me tell you what's going on here. Let me write you a letter so I can educate you about what's happening here. They fucking know what's happening here. They don't give a shit. And they won't unless you force them to by hitting them in their pockets or hitting them in their mouth.
So who is it they?
The power that be. The powers that be, right? So you're talking about writing this letter to Joe Biden. Joe Biden ain't ignorant about what's happening in this country. He's fully aware of it.
So I listen to Maze, and then I listen to Salim today, too. I listen to both of them pretty much every day anyway.
Yeah, you should.
But, well, Salim is only Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I check Salim specifically. And when Bill is here, I love listening to him and Salim go back and forth.
I thought they was going to box today.
I told you, I told Salim one day they was like the more refined version of me and you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think in a lot of ways they was having a very similar conversation, that being Maze and Salim.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was pushback from Bill to Salim's kind of perspective,
yeah.
Or at least the questions that Salim asked. Because Salim has a very sly way of not really giving his perspective, but he just puts shit out there like,
out there,
let's think about it this way. And then you
like,
put yourself in the corner, right? So Salim really never tells you what his perspective is, right? But he puts the shit on the table as
he don't tell you what to think. He just lays it out there for you until you draw that conclusion for yourself.
Just an antagonist, you know what I'm saying? He just antagonizes Bill, right? And I love it, right? I love it.
And Bill be getting pissed.
He does, right? But one of the things that Bill was talking about, and it plays into the conversation with Rahm Emanuel as well, and the conversation of you saying they know what it is. Bill was like, Trump is the worst dude ever. He's an idiot. He's this, he's that, and he's this and the third. And, the greater two evils, you got to make that decision. The lesser of two evils. I'm sorry, you got to make that decision. And Biden is absolutely the lesser of two evils. And I was thinking about that, and he was, and Bill was standing there like, I'm not even gonna have that conversation with nobody. That's such a damn ignorant conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's the lesser of two evils, right? And I thought about it, and I think that's solely based in perspective.
That's it,
right?
That's it.
I think it's solely based in perspective.
I would even argue that it's incorrect.
And I think that sometimes what happens in just the human psyche is that we try to avoid conflict. We try to avoid problems, right? But the very nature of growth, the very nature of healing, the very nature of getting through is exactly addressing conflict, right? You got to go through the conflict. And I think there's a mentality with some people that says, fuck that, let's go head on at the conflict. And then there's those other people who just want to wait until you got to get your toe cut off because the cancer didn't metastasize. You know what I mean? Fuck it. If I'm going to die, let me die like a lamb. I mean, like a lion instead of like a lamb. You know what I mean? And I know that's just a matter of perspective, but that's how I look at it. So when you say they don't get it, sometimes I wonder if we get it. I wonder if there's really an understanding of the context of how debilitating this racist society really is, right? And how they play on the strings of power continuously. You know what I mean? For me, Trump isn't an idiot. Trump isn't nothing other than the exemplification of what it means to be white.
I agree with you.
That's it. And it's been that way since they settled on this soil.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? So I don't think he's an idiot. And if he is an idiot, he's sly like a fox.
I agree with you 100%, right? I do think that we're the ones who don't get it. I'm saying we don't get it because we assume that they are ignorant of the issues here. They aren't ignorant. They're just benefiting from them. They don't really give a shit about what's happening on this side of the line. What's happening on this side of the line is cool. So what happens over there don't really make me no difference. You can write a million fucking letters if you want to. We've been writing letters since
But again, that's
we
the
could fucking
context.
write.
You're right. They aren't ignorant. We are.
Let's pause it right there, man. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by Chicago royalty, man. I posted on my Instagram today and on my Facebook that, I've had the opportunity to interview lots of people, throughout my years in broadcasting. And I almost never get like overly excited about it. It's just cool. I treat people as people. It's all good. But I must admit, like, I am amped about our guest today. When we come back from this break, we'll be joined live by Chicago legend, Chicago royalty, a person who means a whole lot to my personal life, right? Whether he know it or not, I'm going to tell him in a minute. I've actually told him this before, but we're going to be joined by Scoop Jackson, legendary writer. He's got a new book out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things with the one and only Scoop Jackson. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, he will be joining us live virtually as the city has been shut down again. We're trying to do all the things that we can to ensure that we're taking the necessary precautions, and so we want to keep Scoop safe. We want to keep me safe, you safe, everybody safe. So we're trying to do what we need to do up here at What's in It for the Black People Media. But we will be joined by Scoop Jackson virtually. We got to take a break. This is I Said What I Said. Tucson, Warner, Herb Howard. We'll be right back.
WIFTPM. Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information. Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information. Or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Food, culture, impact. What's in it for the Black People Media is proud to support The Woodlawn, located at 1200 East 79th Street. The Woodlawn is an innovative economic center for the entire family. Stop by and try our jerk-inspired menu. Plus, get details on our new Igloo dining experience. Restaurant, event space, cultural space. For more info about reservations or our COVID-19 friendly space, visit us online at www.thewoodlawn1200.com.
WIFTPM.
And we are back live from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard, Tucson, Warner here with you till 3 o'clock. Absolutely thrilled to be joined live on the line by none other than Scoop Jackson. Scoop is the legendary sports columnist, legendary journalist. Man, his list of accomplishments goes on and on. He's an author. He is a brother. He is someone that, for me, I've looked up to literally since I was about 11 or 12 years old. And this was really before I knew his name. I knew what he did. I didn't know. I mean, I knew what Slam Magazine was. That's kind of what you did as a shorty. But but I didn't even know that he wrote for it, right? And I had read plenty of his articles, but I didn't know that the dude who I saw every morning on my way to school was Scoop Jackson. He was just the dude that I saw every morning on the way to school. And
Eastside strong, huh?
Eastside crazy, man. So, and growing up over there where I grew up, there wasn't a whole lot of positive male representation, right? And so I would walk down the block going to school, and just to get to school every day, the way I took past his house every morning. And, once you get on a routine, you get on a schedule, you tend to see the same people on your routine. You go to the coffee shop at the same time every morning, you tend to see the same people at the coffee shop. This was my morning routine. Apparently it was his. Often enough, I would see him coming out of his driveway, right? He had this, oh man, I thought this truck was the coldest truck in the history of trucks. It was like a black Pathfinder, if I recall, right? And I thought it was the dopest thing ever at the time, man. And I would see him, and he would always just take a couple minutes to chop it up, and it would just be me or a couple of my guys just walking to school. And again, over there wasn't a whole lot of representation of positive black males. Certainly none that would take the time to chop it up with you. And we knew he was going to work, and that wasn't again all that commonplace for black men over there. Mm-hmm. And so to see him getting up, going to work, he coming out this house, he getting in this truck. He got his swag going on. He got this bag. He's like, yo, and he would just chop it up with like, what y'all doing? Y'all going to school? Y'all staying out of trouble? Just small talk. I'm 30 seconds, but that it changes your life in a way that I don't know, Scoop. I don't know that was. I don't know that you were aware of the difference that you were making on us at the time, but I'm telling you, it was extremely powerful. I've had an opportunity to tell you this privately. I'm happy to tell it to you publicly, man. I appreciate it. I admire you for it. I respect you. And it absolutely, those, 30 seconds a couple times a week were hugely influential on my life. And I appreciate you, brother. How are you?
I'm good, my man. But that's kind of what you hope, though. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I've always believed in. And I came up in that same neighborhood, and I still live in the same neighborhood for the most part. I'm a South Shore dude, so I'm going to be a South Shore dude. Yeah. But that's one of the things that I always stress as far as when people always talk about giving back. And I don't want to say I don't believe in the concept of giving back, but when it comes to us as black folks, I kind of don't believe it because I feel if you give back, that means that you left. So my whole purpose in never leaving the same neighborhood I came up in is that I never gave back. You just give. You know what I'm saying? And giving should be natural. So my hope was that when I saw you, and Kevin was staying right next door to me, and your boys, right over there on Chappelle and Krieger, the whole, the young crew that was in the thing.
Indeed.
I would hope that I would have some type of not necessarily influence, but impact on what your everyday lives were. Because you all would, look, man, like I said, I came up in the same neighborhood, still in the same neighborhood. I know what it's like to see the same shit every day.
Absolutely.
So if for 30 seconds, like you said, I could be a breath of fresh air, I could be the one dude in the neighborhood that stopped and spoke to you, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because young individuals in black neighborhoods, especially young men, get ignored very quickly. They get dismissed. Right. They get minimized. And the one thing, I still do it to this day, say what's up to everybody, especially young brothers, because we have a tendency not to acknowledge one another. And I've never lived that life and never wanted anybody else that came in contact with me to be responsible for me being a part of that part of their lives. So to the long answer to your questions that my hope was that, us having the small time and me just being there and you all, just developing a relationship with me and me developing a relationship with you would have at least a small impact on you. It would give you like, there's some decent people around me. There's some, there's something I can look forward to maybe if I do things this way. If I need it, if I don't have anybody else in this neighborhood that I can talk to that can identify with me,
right? I
can ring Scoop's doorbell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was. You told me that before in private. You told me that now public, and I told you I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. But the answer to your question is that's what I hope for. That's what I always hope for. You got a good memory. It was a black Pathfinder too. You good?
Okay, yeah, because it was the coldest truck I had seen. I was like yo, that's raw.
Cuz balling.
Right. That's what it was, man. So again, appreciate that, and appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule, man. I know you got a million and one things going on. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to chop it up with us right here on I Said What I Said.
School, before you go further, man, this is Tucson, man, but I want to dive into something you just said. You said,
yes, sir.
Young black men are pretty much ignored, right? And I thought that was an interesting statement, specifically considering the political climate that we in. Why do you think it's so acceptable for like everybody to ignore us? And when you say ignore, be clear. We even ignore it in our own community.
But that was my exact point. I said we were ignored by black men. Young black men are really ignored by older black men. And I don't know if it's a challenge there. I think we have a tendency to look down on one another because we put, black men put, I don't want to say irresponsible, sometimes unachievable and unrealistic expectations on black men that are younger than them. And I think if you did a case study on that, you would say you could probably come up with the insecurity that we as older black men have and older black men have had on us as putting on the younger generation what we weren't able to accomplish. And when they don't accomplish it, you know what I'm saying? We kind of minimize what they're doing, but that's our own insecurities. And I think also, in black society, we have a tendency to mirror a lot of the ways white society looks at us. Mm-hmm. And white society historically is always, it continues to do that, continues to minimize and ignore us. So you see black men doing the same thing white men doing because if we have a real conversation, half the black men in this country, that's what they want to be, is white men. So when you want to be like that, you're going to act like that. So Tucson, we can go on for an hour answering that question because there's not just one answer to that one.
No,
but
real,
we as
man.
black men who are trying to be different, that's what we can't fall into.
No, that's real,
we have to recognize early and not fall into the trap of taking our own personal black and American insecurities and putting it on the generation below us or beneath us or, coming up after us. We can't do that. So we have to make a conscious effort to never minimize, and even when, there are some of us, black men, young black men who ain't doing shit, who are doing wrong.
Yeah.
Before we start minimizing them, let's try to, at least shape and save them before we get to the point of minimizing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, man, you know there's a long ass answer to that question. My answer is no different than anybody. It's a long ass answer. You know that.
And we talk about it. We talk about it here all the time. We have that conversation often. And my personal philosophy is that black people are at least as inflicted with the disease of white supremacy, if not more so, than white people. And my premise on that being that white people get it from this one-sided kind of point of view that, y'all are better than everybody else. Y'all are better than everybody else. But for black people, I think we get it twice. It is that white people are better than everybody else. White people are better than everybody else. And you ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. And when you get it double like that, you kind of get more infected with that kind of disease, and you can become a person who kind of looks down upon people who look just like you and refuse to give them those opportunities or give them that time of day that we were talking about earlier. And it's a cyclical thing that just kind of goes on and on and on.
Yeah, but you have to be honest about it. We've been overtly and subliminally beat psychologically and physically into that way of thought.
Yeah.
We're still getting beaten to that way of thought. It's being done, by so many different ways and so many different, methods that it's hard for us to escape. And a lot of times because of the way success is viewed in America, when we do find some level of success, that ideology is reinforced. Because success a lot of times in America for us as black men comes with moving further and further away from our indigenous society. Most black folks that find success are far removed from other black folks. We know that. So the ideology you speak of yes, we fall into the trap of white supremacy because white man's water is wetter. We're also being told that we're not shit because guess what? We're moving further away from that. And the reason we're being told that we're successful is because we're moving further and further away from that. So all these messages are things that we're being told. So when we look at ourselves, not directly in the mirror, but look at ourselves as being younger versions of ourselves, automatically we're looking down. Automatically, because like I said, we've been overtly and subliminally beaten over the head with not just white supremacy, but just the inferiority complex that they always want us to have. Now you can attach that to supremacy, but I think white supremacy, it separates itself from our situation a lot of times. I think white supremacy sometimes is the infrastructure that they have to live with themselves with, but the inferiority complex that is placed on us, sometimes I don't even think that has anything to do with white supremacy. I think that has just something to do with, we're going to force these Negroes to think a certain way so that they're not a threat to us. Because white America knows every time we find some sense of freedom, we become a threat to them. Whatever it is. We get our hands on something and they take our eyes off of us, we tend to turn things around, and they know that. They're aware of that.
Yeah, left to our own devices, we are dangerous to them.
Sports to Obama becoming president, we become a threat. So that's why I think that ideology is so prevalent and not going anywhere. And it's something we have to deal with individually. Like you said, it's a part of who we've become. And it's sad, but we need to break that habit because we need to stop thinking their water's wetter than everybody else's.
Nah, that's real, Scoop. I'm gonna be honest, man. I really want to get into to the sole provider, right? In a quick way, but just based on the conversation we already been having, I kind of want to jump into The Game Is Not a Game: Politics, Protest, and Power, the book by Scoop Jackson. And part of that book, there's a segment in the book where you kind of justify Jay-Z's behaviors with the NFL, right? And you try to make this kind of juxtaposition between Jay-Z. The difference between Jay-Z and Sean Carter. And I kind of want you to dive into that a little bit and explain that to me. Because in the conversation or the context of the conversation we were just having, I think that in order for us to move past that white supremacist kind of stereotyping or that lack of ambition, or whatever you want to categorize it as, I think there needs to be a shift in value systems. And I don't know if we get there with the likes of Jay-Z being our aspiration, because at the end of the day, but let me hear your perspective first.
No. Let me clarify. I don't think at least that wasn't my attempt to try to justify, Jay-Z's actions with the NFL. My thing was for us to look at him differently. If you look at the chapters, it is called Fake News, and I'm looking at us in the media shaping the narrative and shaping the conversations and shaping the agenda the way the public thinks about certain things. And I just took what I thought in Jay-Z's case was basic fact. He's always functioned as two different individuals. And I'm not saying he's a chameleon or anything like that. I'm not even saying he's a hypocrite. I'm saying we can't fall victim to thinking that he is something that he's actually not. And when it comes to business, Jay-Z is totally different than Jay-Z, the cultural icon and any artist. Much the same way Michael Jordan is a different businessman than he was a basketball player. To me, they're two different individuals at work here, especially when you have two individuals at work that are doing the same thing simultaneously.
So in that vein, I got to ask another question then. When we start thinking about the Jays, the Mikes, or even the LeBrons and the Jamil Hills, do you think they have a responsibility to social activism?
Well, there's two answers to that.
Okay.
And I think they're both accurate. And I'm not trying to straddle the fence or anything like that. But to me, I think yes, that they do. But I put that on all of us, not just them.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're in a position in America, especially when we're dealing with how many of us are here, and we're dealing with 12 or 13% of the entire population. It's not like we're fighting apartheid in South Africa, where we're 88 to 90% of the country. It doesn't work that way here in America. So we can't afford to start picking and choosing, what black folks need to be this and what black folks need to be that. No, in order for us to make movement, we all have to be responsible for doing something. So I'm as responsible, and you're as responsible, and Herb is just as responsible as Jay-Z is. We all got collective being here to have some type of force in this country.
Agreed.
But at the same time, I don't think we need to be in a situation where we force responsibility on someone, because every black person isn't built like that. You know, the one thing I want is some fake black person, you know, feeling that they have to be responsible because they found a modicum of success, and that, you know, responsibility can be co-opted at any point in time because that's not who they are.
No, I agree. And I think that's kind of the problem, I guess, at least in my mind, in my perspective.
Yeah,
I
get you.
We elevate them because they've been quantified by their level of success, but their level of success really doesn't resonate in regards to like any level of consciousness around, you know, the issues in our community. You know, so they expect that of them just kind of bothers me a little bit, I guess.
No, I get that. But that's the problem we have in America is that we're looking for a very small number, you know, and sample size of people to save us, as opposed to looking at all of us as the people to save us. And we need more than one thing to save us. So I've always taken the ideology that as long as you aren't doing anything directly to harm us, then it's hard for me to place a responsibility on what I think it is you should be doing. Because
sometimes I question those, Scoop. Sometimes I think they doing stuff directly to harm us. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother.
Well, I mean,
in what way?
I think that's up for conversation. I don't think it's up for debate. I think it's up for conversation.
So I think they're elevated to their positions of leaderships in our community because of their ability to navigate capitalism. And I think capitalism is uniquely tied to racism. I think you can't have one without the other. So what validates them as valuable to our community is the same thing that just the main ill in our community, in my opinion.
The cause and the cure.
Right,
it's like the cause and the cure together.
Right. Now, I get that, but how are you going to function in America without dealing with capitalism, period?
Well, I think that becomes the conversation, right? There's several levels of capitalism, right? So there's like what's the word I'm looking for? Compassionate capitalism. And there's a way to look at it, right? But I don't think that we don't operate in that space. I think we leverage capitalism in the same way that the white man leverages capitalism.
Greed.
It's why we buy rims for our cars. It's like, let me stun on the rest of you at the bottom. Because we ain't stunning on white people. Even Jay-Z, you ain't stunning on white people. You just not. You don't have it. They got 99% of the wealth. So even when you look at the music, if you listen to the music, and I'm a fan, so I know this sounds hypocritical as hell, right? But it's all materialism. It's all like, look at me shit. It's all stunt. The behavior or the messages that you permeate in the music is the same shit that inspires a young boy in Parkway to go shoot a motherfucker. It's the same shit. It's the same shit.
Right. Okay, but if you provide a platform for other individuals to build off of economically that are black, and you're conscious of that, regardless of the messages that you're putting out, you're still building the infrastructure for us to build and grow.
No, I get it. We get to play in that game. I get it.
Right. So but it's still rooted in capitalism, and there's no way around it. You know, this country functions singularly off of capitalism.
I agree.
You know, so my thing is that just because Jay-Z or Mike or Oprah, you know, may function a certain way, I can't put all of our collective business moving forward on them to save us from that.
And I'm not looking for them to save us from it, but I guess in my mind, what I'm looking for is us to have.
We're not having a conversation about other black businesses that are doing things on the other end that they're not doing.
But at the same time, they're being propped up, or they're positioning themselves to become leadership in our community. So it's twofold, right? So there's been black businesses in existence probably since 1969, even before that, really smaller level businesses.
Right.
Yeah, smaller level businesses for sure. But when you start thinking about like uber levels of wealth, that was later on in the trajectory. Well, Madam C.J. Walker was the first millionaire, so that's a big business, right? But at the same time, again, it's a shift in values for me. Right, and then when they get paraded out as the voice of our community, and it's only based in that.
Right,
I'm listening.
Yo, Tucson, stop right there. Now, here's where the bigger problem is to me.
Okay,
and maybe this is because of the business I'm in. You just used the term "touted out there."
Yep.
Who touts them out there?
And I said that maybe. I said maybe they've been touted out there, or maybe they're choosing to be. But if you're choosing to be,
they are being touted out there by someone who is telling us who our leaders should be.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that too.
And that's the role of the media. That's why I said earlier, the media shapes and controls the narrative of how we think. They set the agenda. So they're setting it out there that Michael, Jay, Oprah, whoever
should be our thought leaders.
Black leaders that we should have.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that I don't have a problem doing what they are, but we need to recognize all these others out there that should be our leaders as well. We're letting somebody else control the narrative of how we think and who our leaders are.
No, I agree with
So
that
don't
totally.
put that on Jay and Michael and Oprah for doing what they do. It's on us to say, yeah, you're up there, but there's more than 4 people on our Mount Rushmore who we look for as Black people as far as our leaders are concerned.
But at some levels too, though, right? Do you think it feeds their ego that they get some level of acclaim out of that? Because it's not like they're rejecting it.
They wouldn't be where they are without having egos. You got to have an ego. In this country, you all both know this. A Black person without any ego or arrogance ain't shit. Y'all know that.
He homeless. It's true. He's sleeping under.
Right. So yeah, of course it feeds their ego. It has to, because if they didn't have ego, they wouldn't be where they were.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, Scoop. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to dive deeper into the book. We talked about this part of it about Jay-Z, but I want to talk about more of the purpose of why you chose to write the book and some other things that are in it. Also, I want to go a little bit further back in your career and talk about your journey up until this point. This is I Said What I Said. Toussaint Warner, Herb Howard, absolutely thrilled to be joined virtually by Scoop Jackson. We'll be right back after this.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
The birthday line is, easily, or the birthday bash, whatever you want to call it.
Our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our hit record.
That's our one. That's
right,
my girl.
That's My Girl by the Temptations. Like no matter where we go, we gotta do that.
Are you ready to go down?
Yes, we are.
Come on, who's this on that birthday line?
It's Randy and Mimi.
And how old are you on this day?
I'm 14, I'm 13.
Go ahead. It's your birthday. Go ahead.
Definitely let out twins.
Where y'all from?
Southside.
Where y'all from?
Ida B.
Bad boy, gotta say about
Ida B.
From WGCI, that's 3 down. 2 more.
Old
Got Bill on the
projects.
show called It's Your Birthday. Go, 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 go. My love, I got a question.
Hey, she doing the question. No more to go.
With the show called It's Your Birthday.
Hey, let that play.
It took, man.
I'm tired just listening to that.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Well, it's kind of hard. And we are back live from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard, Toussaint Warner here with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We are fully aware that you could be doing literally anything else, and the fact that you chose to hang out with us and be a part of the conversation is not something that we take lightly. We appreciate y'all so much. If you have not had an opportunity to do so, please take a quick moment to share the conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is appreciated. Leave your opinion in the comments. We will read through as many of them as possible as we go through. Today is a special Monday. Usually on Mondays, we kind of just leave the show just to me and two. And we'll have guests on Wednesdays and on Fridays. But usually on Mondays, it's just me and two. But when you can get Chicago royalty on the show, you set it up and get it done. Scoop Jackson is here with us virtually. Scoop, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate you, brother.
Anytime. Appreciate y'all too, always.
Absolutely. So let's get a little bit deeper into the book, man. Tell me why you chose to write it and what was the goal?
I had been at, still have, at the time when I did the book, I had been at ESPN 11 years, I think, covering all various varieties, entities of sports. Herb, before I came over there, I was with Slam Magazine. I was doing stuff for the NBA, doing stuff with Nike. So a lot of my work was basketball specific.
Yeah, I kind of skipped over. All that. Like, I just assumed that everybody else was as familiar with their resume as I am. Let's go ahead and back it up a little bit, Scoop. Let's back up just a little bit before we get to the latest book that just came out this year. Let's back up a little bit and get to the journey. What, Too?
Soul Provider, Slam, XXL magazine. What was before that? You had to be in some small journalist place, some small magazine somewhere like Wabanzi or something.
Take us through the journey of Scoop Jackson professionally and personally, if you like.
I try to give you a quick LinkedIn version, I guess.
Sure.
No, real talk. I came out of grad school at Howard University in 1991 and transferred because I couldn't get a job here in Chicago. Straight off the bat, even with the master's degree, even with being on the national dean's list, even after paying my own way through grad school, having a work resume, work for the city of Chicago, all this, that, and the other, I still couldn't get a job inside of media. So I basically, 6 months, maybe even less than that, probably, 6 months. Graduation was in May. I started my own company in September. And that's kind of where you caught me, Herb, right around that time. And when you would see me coming out of the crib, I was married by the time. So I started the company in 91. By the time we moved over there, it was like 93, maybe 94. I had already started my own company, was doing my own magazine. Started off as a newsletter locally, then it moved into, I got some black advertisers, started, doing advertising. I wanted to have a black version of the Village Voice. It got up to like 24 pages. Started distributing it nationally in certain black bookstores. Spike Lee stores, both in LA and New York, carried it. From there, Herb, when you would see me, I was moonlighting, going over and sneaking into University of Chicago and typesetting and printing the magazine and using their facilities.
Yeah.
Putting it all on disc and taking it to Kinko's.
Doing what you got to do.
And then getting issues printed out. We was on that hustle.
Man.
But I basically just started my own company, and came with that same philosophy, do for yourself or die a slave. And really my business life changed after that because, I did everything from a self-sufficient standpoint and built my own small media company through a magazine through there. And from there, I was able to go over to Slam, saw, the publisher Slam saw the magazine, even though I'd never written about basketball before. He wanted me to come on because he liked what I was doing. And from there, I kept doing the magazine, but then he gave me they gave us the room to come up with a new concept for a magazine, and we came up with XXL. So I shut my magazine down in order to do XXL. And it goes to, this is probably a conversation too, Son, I could probably have for hours after this. I shut down a black business that was small to start another business that was white owned, but I had control over it. So it provided me with so many more opportunities I couldn't do throughout my own business. You know what I'm saying? So whereas I could hire 2 or 3 people with my business right now, I could hire 40.
Right.
And give black folks jobs and opportunities in the media that they weren't getting, and I couldn't do because I was too small. So now you got to make a choice. And that's why I go back, as long as you're not doing anything directly bad, you can look at it one way and say, man, you sold your own company out to work for the white man.
But you can see the greater good in that also.
Right. And you wouldn't be wrong by saying that. But here's the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm always open to black folks. Unless you're not doing anything directly bad, then I try to be open to what it is that you're doing. So anyway, I say that to say this. We started XXL, wanted working for the NBA doing magazines, got a call from Nike to start working with Nike and still working with them to this day. So it's kind of, my career has kind of unfolded through things I've been able to do, but it all started with me doing for myself and taking my own creativity, my own hustle into my own hands and having some control over that. And, after doing Slam and XXL I was a Slam for 12 years once we started that. XXL, I was there for 8 years. I was with the NBA for 7 years, and I was with Nike for 4 years before ESPN called. And ESPN actually hit me up 4 different times before I said yes to going over to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because one of the things that I also feel is that one of the problems we have as Black folks and deals with the capitalism conversation we were having earlier is that the one thing I don't want to say we don't have, but we don't have in mass and we don't collectively have is capital.
Sure.
We don't have money, you know, and that's also the one thing we're thirsty for.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when we get dollars dangled in front of our face, we usually jump.
Yep.
And I've always tried to operate with a position from a position of strength. And when ESPN came at me, I didn't think what they were coming at me with in the beginning was worthy of me losing everything I had built up to that time.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to, I had built a good relationship with Harris Publications that allowed me to, you know, be the editor and executive editors of magazines like Slam and Double XL and all the opportunities and Honey Magazine and
right.
What else? I forgot what Daytron started. You know, all the stuff we started over there. The Nike deal was sweet because they were just giving us room to do whatever we wanted to do and tell stories we wanted to tell, which is a great thing to have. And, you know, when you get to a company like Nike, you start not seeing a lot of you all around.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, you get opportunities like, hey, man, you know, one of our responsibilities, going back to the responsibility question, is to open these doors, you know, to either start something inside of here and grow on our own or open up opportunities through here for us to have a stronger voice. You know, and you don't want to throw that away for anything.
Yeah, and I think it matters how you enter the mainstream space, right? I think it matters how you enter that space. I think that, you're treated differently and you receive differently from that mainstream space based on how you enter it, right? If you enter it having put your own skin in the game, having built something up on your own, and it's not like, I'm not really, at this point, I'm not coming to you. Now you coming to me. All the same doors that were closed previously, now y'all can't open the door wide enough for me to come running through it, and now I get to choose how or if I want to walk through.
Exactly. Now, here's the key, though, for me, and here's the key for me. The reason I've been able to sustain that, especially at ESPN for the 15 years I've been there longer than I have in everything else, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I've been able to sustain that is always functioning in that they don't want me there.
Mm.
And I've always had this function in dealing with corporations and business deals that I've made with them and contracts that I signed with them through my own company. Now, keep in mind, every deal I've ever made has not been a deal. The contract has never said Scoop Jackson.
Mm.
It's always said Strong Island Media. And it goes to my point about positioning and moving through a position of strength. You know, this is not a person. I'm not a person that works for you. We have a deal.
Right.
We're working with each other. My company is working with your company, and we're building from that.
Right.
So that's how I've always functioned since day one. And I've had the ability to continue to function and stay sustainable through that. In my belief is because I always think that whatever reason it got me there, I don't care about. But in my mind, they don't want me there. So they're waiting for me to fail and fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to give them the liberty of showing them what it's like for a brother to mess up. I'm going to be the exact opposite. Because, once again, and this may be my Black paranoid belief, is that every mistake I made is going to be held against every other brother and sister who tries to come in after that.
Yep.
And I have functioned with that belief. So, once again, Slam Magazine and Harris Publication, 11 years, left on my own terms. NBA, 7 years, left on my own terms for the most part. You know, Nike, left on my own terms, came back on my own terms, still with them on my own terms. ESPN, came over there, set my own terms, still with them. You know, basically, kind of on my own terms. Much you can be on your own terms in a company as big as Disney.
Man, that's the game that I knew that you would be offering in this interview. That is the type of jewels that I would hope that you would be dropping here, man. We appreciate it. Listen, we got to take a quick break. I stopped you from going into the game is not a game, the power, protest, and politics of American sports. I do want to get into that. I do want to talk about why you wrote that book and what you want to get out of it, and make sure people know where they can get it as well. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, want to get into that side of it. Scoop Jackson on I Said What I Said. We'll be right back after this.
WIFTBPM. Boys, step aside. The Radio Rookie is in the building. The Book of Dawn, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Are you ready for some authentic, delicious street tacos on the south side of Chicago? Stop by for the launch of Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up at 312 East 75th Street on Thursdays and Fridays from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Experience their jerk chicken, sriracha shrimp, and blackened salmon tacos. And don't forget to ask about their Rome walking taco, Sissy street corn, and children's meal that comes with a special price. Visit sissytacobar.com for more information.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Protected by Women is going both ways. Trigger with instructor Mike on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Oh, it's going both ways. When do you all stand up and say we are not about to sit here and let you tarnish the reputation of our brother, right? Whether he did good or not, let's be honest. Maybe we didn't reach out to Superintendent Johnson. Maybe we didn't attend the CAPS meetings. Maybe there were some things we could have done in the policing to be better. We don't want to make that admission, but we are not about to let you tarnish the reputation of a man simply because you did what some of us do. We fuck and then we go. You came or you didn't. Apparently, Johnson was good because you wanted the Oscar Mayer wiener. You were trying to get bars sucking on stars. I'm just saying, lady, you did what you wanted to do and you did it well. For 3 fucking years, who gets raped for that long? And you carry a gun every day. You see women who catch their spouses cheating and kill them right then and there. You had the power and the legal ability under 720 ILCS 5 section 7-1 in defense of yourself. You are authorized to use deadly force to stop a forcible felony, but it's hard to stop a forcible felony when you're sucking on it under a melody. I'm just saying, stop with the bullshit. Yeah, I'm not going. Only on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
WIFTVPN. Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Welcome back, live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. It means a whole lot to us that y'all have chosen to be here. My name is Herb Howard. My esteemed co-host, his name is Toussaint Werner. That other brother on the screen, he is none other than Scoop Jackson. Just walked us through his professional story about how he started. Coming out of college, couldn't find a job back here in his own city, and decided to build it up his own way, and now people can't get enough of them, whether it's Nike, the NBA, whoever it is. Like, please come be with us. But I Scoop, that story, man, that lesson and those jewels that you drop is really, really important. In fact, I was just talking to Mace Jackson before we came into the studio. I was talking to him outside, and we were talking about this idea of what's in it for the black people and everybody that comes here, right? So like Toussaint and I brought I Said What I Said here, and you bring it here. Now we're all under this What's in It for the Black People Media umbrella, and it's great to be here. But I Said What I Said is still intellectual property and the concept and all of it is still ours, right? And so, to continue to do that, and we were talking about, Maze and I were talking about how everybody who's here, whether you're talking about me and Two, what I said, or you're talking about the bigs on the soil, everybody still owns their own intellectual property, and kind of you get the opportunity to be integrated vertically into the organization. And so everything that begins to happen, you get to have a part of that and be influential in all of those types of things. I think that is a critical way to enter into a partnership, as opposed to just saying, well, now What's in It for the Black People Media owns you, or ESPN owns you, or Nike owns you. There's a different thing when you enter it that way.
And you know what's also essential, I think, in you all's case, and hopefully this, like, it gets contagious amongst everybody that's there with you all.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody actually tries to leave or uses this as a platform to get somewhere else or somewhere better in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we have a problem with as Black folks is we always look at the space we're in and don't think that space is good enough.
Right.
We always want something extra, something more. If all of you all say, look, instead of trying to get to Clear Channel, instead of trying to get somewhere else, instead of trying to get picked up or use this as a platform, or everybody use their collective shows or their individual shows as a springboard to go somewhere, right, better. Just concentrate on building what you have right now, and that will be you all's Wakanda. That will be you all's jewel. And you all around there every day. You all know that's one of the things. You will probably have a few people, your coworkers, that have a 3-year plan for what they want to do.
Yep.
At you all's media outlet, as opposed to building what they have right there and letting that be the nurture place, letting that be the foundation that you all build off of, and that could be your end result. Let where you are be your end result. And we can go to the next way, but that's one of the things, Herb, that I got a lot of dealing with young individuals and dealing with Slam Magazine, especially from writers. They were always like, well, didn't you want to go to Sports Illustrated? Didn't you want to do this, that, and the other? That was like, no, we never looked at what we were doing as something that was lesser than what somebody else was doing.
Yep.
We funneled everything we could into what we were and what we were able to do right there. It was never about, hey, this is going to get us here. This is going to get us here. Never about that. It was about enjoying and trying to perfect that moment.
Yep.
And whatever happened in that moment was going to happen. Now, once you do that, I think things do wind up happening for you. But if your end result isn't where you are, especially as a Black person, that's where you find problems. And you all are in a space that I wish I had back in the day. So hopefully, all of you all over there will understand, just as it is as important to have this as your incubator, it is just as important for you all to utilize that and not try to use that as a springboard into something else.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And Two says this all the time about, valuing the journey and not always looking towards the destination. Like, this could be the destination. This and even if it's not, enjoy this part of the journey exactly as you are. I want to move on, man. I've been trying to get into the book. The Game Is Not a Game: The Power, Protest, and Politics of American Sports. Scoop, why'd you write it? What was the intention, and what'd you look to get out of it?
Well, like I was saying before, we switched, we pivoted.
Yeah.
I've been at ESPN at the time 11 years, man. And like I said, my career at that time, as far as writing is concerned in sports, was strictly or primarily about basketball. Coming over to ESPN in 2005, I had the space to really expand beyond just being a quote unquote basketball writer, even though it's still, primarily what I did, at least 60% of what I did, but or maybe 50%, whatever. But I was able to operate in different lanes and tell different stories and look at the larger scope of sports and shape my views from a writing standpoint on ESPN's platform that way. So after doing that for 11 years, my position kind of changed at ESPN, where I went from being a senior writer at ESPN.com to a senior writer for SportsCenter. And that stopped me from writing long form stories. I wasn't writing 1,500 word feature stories or, 800 word columns. I was doing more concise video features.
Right.
And because the long form writing was taken away from me, that didn't allow me to do the deep dives of research, you know, and storytelling that I was doing and had been doing for the first 25 years of my career.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the space, man. I had the space to like really sit down and think, well, damn, the columns I used to write for ESPN, I can still be writing them now, but I'm in a different capacity. Why can't I turn the columns I would be writing for ESPN and turn them into chapters? And that basically was the foundation of what made me write this book. I looked at topical situations that I felt I had a strong opinion on, that I would actually wind up, you know, writing as columns for ESPN if I was still writing columns for ESPN.com. And I said, just let me do the research dive and do enough research to turn these from, you know, columns into chapters. And the initial thing I wanted to do, I wanted this to be the literary version of Nas's first album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be 9 chapters strong, you know, and that's why one of the titles of the chapters in the book is called Illmatic.
Illmatic.
Because it was based on that. But then when I got, you know, the publisher was like, you know, we think there's more here to this book. So we added 4 more chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still consistent with what we were doing in the book and me taking deep dives into topical subject matters that I thought were important in sports. And that was the foundation on which the book was laid. And when I tried to execute to the best of my ability, but real talk, I really was throughout the mindset of writing that book. It was all about me trying to do my version of Nas, Illmatic, really. But that's something I knew I would never match. I mean, you can't. There's certain things in life that us as creators or storytellers that we're not gonna match, but it should never stop you from going for it.
Nah,
you
shoot for a piece of art like Illmatic. You're gonna land somewhere extremely, extremely high, like,
close to reasonable doubt. You're gonna land next to reasonable doubt.
Right. That's fair. Right. And you know I'm more Jay than Nas, but that's fair. I see you taking a shot at my man.
You say I did that.
No, I got it. I mean, I wanted this. Like I said, I shot for Nas, and I'm in my heart of hearts. I think I probably came out with maybe It Takes a Nation of Millions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
Now, if I got to a Pimp a Butterfly level, I'd be like, all right,
hey,
I'll retire. You know what?
Hey, May's out there yelling outside the studio. Reasonable Doubt was number 1.
The main capitalist. The main capitalist. Look at
Hey, leave Mays alone, man. We got to hold down that last name together now. Come on now.
Right. I dig it. Hey, Jay still won the battle.
No, he didn't.
Jay won the battle.
No, he didn't.
Jay won the battle.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
You didn't hear Ether?
Huh?
You never heard Ether?
Ether is raw. Ether is raw. But here's why I say Jay won the battle. Because
you're a young boy.
Call it what you want. Call it what you want. It's because I'm young. Fine. It is because Jay was spitting real facts. Nas calling this man ugly. He called him. I don't care if that man is ugly. I don't care how many camels he look like. I don't give a shit about none of that. What I do care is about that man saying 4 albums in 10 years, nigga. I can divide. That's one every, let's say 2. 2 of them shits was dude. One was the other was Illmatic. That's a 1 hot album every 10-year average. Facts. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about this, all this other subjective shit if you want to. Those are facts. And he came back and said, hit your baby mama in your backseat, left condoms on your baby seat. Game over. You lost. You lost.
I'm not interested.
You lost. Game over.
Not hard. Nah, that's dope, though.
Nah, for real. Shout out to both of them, man. They raw.
Yeah.
It's cool. Let's get into Soul Provider, man. And I'm only asking this because it's like in my real life, I'm a designer, right? When I think about Nike specifically, like I think about Tinker. And I had a chance to go to Portland this last summer. I think it was right before COVID hit, whenever that was. Man, when I think about it from the standpoint of just who Tinker is in the space, G, he's probably like the most prolific designer in the history of humankind, G.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
He's the Jordan of his field, man.
He really is, man. It's like it's not a piece of soil on this planet that man hasn't touched. That's super dope to me.
Tucson. Let me tell you a quick story. I'm gonna let you. I mean to cut you off, but he told me that once. He told
really?
me that he was somewhere in, I think it was somewhere in Europe. It was either Europe or South America. I know it's two different places, but I forgot where he said he was. But he said it hit him that he had been all over the world, and he had realized there wasn't a place he had been in the world where his design had not touched, where he didn't see one of his designs.
Man, that's real, man. That's power, man. That's power.
Yeah, it is.
That's power. Soul Provider, though, man, you was the first book Nike ever published?
First book Nike ever wrote, and they called my black ass to do it.
Man, that's you in the history books with that one, though, man. That's major salute.
Legendary.
So with that being said, you on that list of drop-offs, you get a box every month or something? How that work over there?
You know what? The game has changed a lot, man. I used to, and I've reached OG status in the game. I'm not one of those young influencers anymore, you know. So the boxes don't come, once a month. I used to get them. Yeah, I used to get them. And as much stuff and product as they used to send me, I used to still say that wasn't enough for the work I did on Soul Provider and how cheap I did it for them.
But that's definitely a different perspective, because I swear one of my goals in life, and I'm not a capitalist, but one of my goals in life is to get a box every month.
Right. No, I'm not mad at that. But the stuff, now and being an OG in the game, the stuff I do get is, that rare. It's not the volume, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I get stuff that's so one of one now that they can send me a box a year and I'm good.
That's super.
You know
dope,
what I'm saying? I get that. That's the type of stuff that comes through now.
Yeah, that's super dope. I'd love to see that collection, brother.
Oh yeah, my collection is solid.
I'm sure it is.
I'm not a big cat of having like 3,000 stuff like that. I'm one of those dudes that looks at
quality over quantity.
Well, no, it's about art. To me, it's about art.
That's true.
I function through art. Everything to me flows through art. Mm-hmm. So shoes are no different. And that's kind of the way we approach Soul Provider. We wanted to treat, Ray Butts and I wanted to single out every shoe and treat them as pieces of art and tell stories about the lives we felt each shoe lived. That was the whole, that's how we built Soul Provider and did the book around it and treating shoes like art. And I still do the same thing. So, if you come peep my collection, it's not about, I got like 15 pair of 11s or, some 3s, or I got this many, it doesn't function that way. It's like, oh snap, I didn't know they did that. I may have one pair of one shoe, but it's one you probably never seen before.
It's one of 39, right?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to be on some one of one.
Like ever made.
Really.
One of one. My bad. Pardon my disrespect.
Right. But because I'm the OG in the game, right? Mm-hmm. And all you young dudes out here are flexing on a whole nother level. So the fact that you all can step out every day in Mint, I don't step out every day in Mint, but when I do step out, I still got to get you all's attention.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to get you all like, oh man, that's Yoda right there. Yoda still got, you know what I'm saying? It's like Yoda's still out here. Right, so I can't have that. So every time I do step out, it's got to be something like, oh snap.
Shout out to Eugene McIntosh too, man.
Right.
Eugene McIntosh is one half of the Bigs, man, and he been calling you Yoda ever since I told him that you was coming on Monday. So shout out to Eugene McIntosh.
Yo, they either call me Yoda or Kazoo. Those are my two nicknames, man. And y'all are too young to know who Kazoo is, so
I remember who Kazoo is.
Yeah, I don't. I'm with you on the Yoda piece.
Scoop, quick question, man. I got a son that's playing high school ball, G.
Wait, Tucson, my boys call me Yoda because, Zeus, because of the size of my head. They call me Kazoo because they say I got a big head like Kazoo.
That's all right, man. It's been working for you all these years. Keep rolling with it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Quick question about basketball specific. I got a son, man. He's a freshman in high school. Started playing ball in the Chicago area, but got recruited to play ball in Arizona. I got him in Arizona right now. And I'm looking at him coming home for the summer. And I've been thinking about it, specifically how basketball has shifted, and who knows how this will play out in COVID. But like AAU has become like a major factor in ball. Mm-hmm. And I hate AAU, man. I absolutely hate it, but it's a necessary evil. What you think of AAU in general?
That's a good question because of what I do and how connected I am to basketball, I've seen both the good and corrupt sides of AAU.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd almost be unfair to throw a blanket under what AAU represents.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I can throw a blanket over what it represents. It's hard to throw a blanket over what it exactly does, because it has been beneficial to a lot of players when done correctly. Mm-hmm. But you have a lot of people inside of AAU that are in it for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
And they fuck up a lot of kids' futures.
Yep. Yeah, that's all in Chicago AAU. I'm gonna just put that out there. You ain't gotta say it, I'm gonna say it. But I feel like
Chicago's no different than a lot of other places. You know, Chicago's better than a lot of places. Chicago is a lot worse than a lot of places. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the bad of the bad. You know, I ain't gonna start throwing names out there because I ain't that dude. But I've seen the bad of the bad and how bad it can get. And a lot of it, once again, as everything else in this country, is predicated by greed.
No, that's real. But I had him playing AAU in Wisconsin, man. It was so bad that I was driving to Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee every weekend. You know what I mean? And now that he's in high school, I'm like, I don't want to make that kind of commitment. And he's already in Arizona, so when he comes home for the summer, I want to do like, there's only 2 real serious AAU programs in Chicago. Yeah. And they're not even ranked nationally. That's what really irritates the hell out of me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, here's the deal, man. Tucson, let's do this. No, it's real talk. Like anything else, especially when we deal with Chicago, let's do the research, man. Like, seriously, let's you and I do the research.
I'm with it.
Pretend like let's pretend like we buying a house in a black neighborhood in Shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much research goes there, because shit changes from block to block.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
Right. Chicago is nothing but pockets. So where, one block you'd be like, nah, this is jacked up. And next block, oh man, this is great, But you have to do your own research. You have to do your own dive. So my thing is that between you and I, let's do some AAU research and find out what the best fit in Chicago is for your son.
Man, I'm trying, brother. I'm with it.
Hey, if the 2 of y'all dig deep into that could be potentially the dopest thing that's ever happened.
That might be a whole nother story. That might be a whole book,
like dead ass. The 2 of y'all on that, because I know how you are in terms of reading and researching and diving deep. Obviously, Scoop, we know what you get. Like the 2 of y'all do some shit like that, that'd be the rawest thing ever, for real.
But we're doing it for the greater. We're not doing it for a show. We're doing it for what's in the best interest of the son.
For the greater good.
Exactly. Not for the show. Yeah.
Right.
No, that's real.
We're not trying to do a 60 Minutes investigative report on how fucked up AAU is.
or how great it is, because I've seen it from the other side too. I've seen it be great too, right? I've seen all different sides of it, right? So I've been around the Irvins and the Larry Butlers and the Stan Whites, like all these different cats, and I've seen it be extremely beneficial to some young black dudes. I've seen it be detrimental to some young black dudes, just depending on certain circumstances and certain individuals in a given situation.
Here, I will say this one fact. This is true. I have learned this to be true. That regardless of AAU, if the kid is good, like really good, and I'm not saying like elite, like preps, all that stuff. I'm talking about if the kid could just hoop,
right?
Like seriously,
right?
Regardless of where he plays, the right people will find him.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
I agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that, man. I can see if you're elite, good.
That's what you mean. If you really, really nice, the coaches are gonna find you. I don't know no dudes that was nice as hell that nobody ever found.
Look. Here's my example. My example. Tucson. And
I'm listening.
Let's talk about a kid like Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
No McDonald's All-American. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. None of that parade. None of that stuff in high school. Correct?
Yeah.
None of that stuff. And it's not like he went to a Kentucky. It's not like he went to a UCLA. It's not like he went to a UConn. It's not like, he didn't go to any big name school. Where did he go to school at? There were like 5 people that went to the school he went to. Murray State.
Yeah. Ja Morant is a special case.
But no, he's not. My point is that he to me is the epitome of what happens to validate my point. If you are good, they will find you.
Mm-hmm. I try to bank on that, man. I try to believe in that system. I swear to God, I do.
Look, man, Kentucky found Anthony Davis at a high school that had one student.
Facts.
That's true,
Facts.
but also Anthony Davis was 6'10" senior, averaging 40 and 20 or some shit. It was something outrageous.
Yeah, if you're nice like
but
that.
What I'm saying is that it's still in the city of Chicago with 8 million people. He got found.
Nah, that's real. That's real.
That's all I'm saying. I can keep coming up with all types of. If you are good, they will find you. I'm not saying you're gonna get a D1 major contract or anything like that. I'm just saying if you are good,
I just want him to get a shot, man. I just want him to get a shot. That's all.
What I'm saying is that he could. Here's my question to you, man. When do you want him to get his shot? Do you want him to get his shot now? Do you want him to get his shot in college? Do you want to get his shot into the pros? Because I could go through a bunch of cats whose shot didn't come until they got drafted into the second round of the NBA who are on their way to the Hall of Fame.
No, that's real. That's real. But I just want to have an opportunity to go to school, man. So that's my goal. His goal is some other shit.
Here's my thing. The opportunity to go to school is fine. There are 305 NCAA schools. Are you limiting yourself to any of that?
I'm not limiting myself to none of them. Now, what he's limiting himself to, that's his conversation. I just want him to get there.
But it goes to what we're saying about you all being in the space you are right now. Take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you that you are in. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't get drafted by a blue chip, Division I school, and Murray State wants him, hell.
His ass will be at Murray State.
Weber State wants him. The way they wanted Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? CJ McCollum, cats went to these small-ass schools, or Steph Curry from Davidson. These small-ass, unheard-of-ass schools, and they have blossomed when they got to their chances came once they got to the NBA, not before they got to the NBA. They didn't have chances in high school. It wasn't an AAU program that got them there. It was just their work, diligence, persistence, and their chance came when they got to the NBA, and they continued to get better and took advantage of it then.
No, I agree.
My point is that anywhere your kid goes, there's always going to be someone that he has to use as an outlier to what he can be. So
I agree 100%.
Ja Morant is a different dude. Ja Morant could be the exact person that your son needs in order for his shot to get there.
No, I agree. I'm holding on to that, but I just think Chicago was, and again, I got limited stuff to compare it to, right? But in regards to like Chicago, even what you said was 357 NCAA schools or whatever that number was, 305.
Yeah.
When I started looking at the top 10 programs in the city of Chicago, and this is high school, and then of course the high schools are directly attached to the AAUs. We're not sending kids to school, man, and that bothers me here. And when I really analyze the AAU, not even the AAU circuit, this is all Chicago in a lot of ways. We're not even really learning the game, right? And part of the culture here with the AAU is who's the hottest kid. This week you'll invest in this point guard, but then the next week you'll see another hot kid. You stop investing in that other kid, and they never really learn the game. It's just who's the most athletic or who get the most highlights. You're not really playing the game. You're a good one-on-one player right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And at every level that changes. If you're not a skilled player at the college level, all that I could jump high shit don't mean nothing, because everybody jumping high. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting to watch how it plays out in the city, man. Specifically when I'm vested because my kid's playing now.
Right.
Yeah, but here's my thing is that you and your son your son only has control of one thing, and that's what he can do.
Right.
And at some point, and that's kind of where I believe is that if you're good enough, if you're good enough, the system can't do anything to you. But it's on you to try to rise above that.
No, I agree. I just don't think we're making the right investments. But I agree, it's still on him. No, it's going to land on him.
We're not. But what I'm saying is that none of us are.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to function in a system that's set up for us to fail anyway. So how do we succeed in that? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. That takes brothers like you and I doing a deep dive and putting him in a situation that we think is best for him that he agrees to.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And we may be wrong, but at least we did the research. That's my thing.
Right.
At least
that's real.
we did the research.
Well, I'm looking forward to y'all hopping up in that scoop. I done held you on here long enough, man. We're gonna let you go, man. But what's next for Scoop, man? What should we be looking forward to? What you got coming up, man?
Right now is current, because I don't know if you know, I curated for New City magazine here in Chicago.
Okay.
They called me to curate the Best of Chicago issue this year, and I did an all-black Chicago issue. So
yeah,
that just dropped last week, so it'll be in rotation for the rest of the month. So that's my current project, which is kind of like an honor because I've done a lot of work. And really, Chicago is home, and Chicago gives me the same type of love that South Africa gave Nelson Mandela. You know, and I love the city and love the fact, but I've never been able to do something in Chicago that represents Black Chicago like this. So,
yeah,
you know, it's kind of a big deal for me just to be able to be a part of something like this. So, you know, to answer your question, what's next? Now, right now is what's now, because I'm really proud of the issue that we were able to put out because it represents Black Chicago in a way that I don't think anybody's ever represented Black Chicago.
Man, that's what I'm taking away from this entire interview, this entire conversation. I'm taking away from this conversation is, you know, the enjoying the right now, the being present in the moment, not always looking forward to the next thing, what's going to be, where can I end up, but the right here and the right now and the value in it, man. Scoop, it's an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on I Said What I Said. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for everything that you have done and continue to do to put on for the city of Chicago and for Black culture as a whole. Thank you for what you've meant to me personally, brother. I appreciate you. I love you. I look forward to talking to you again soon, man. Thank you so very much.
Same exact words back to both of y'all. And appreciate it, Herb. Everything and all the words always, man. Always. You know that already, though.
Indeed, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
That is Scoop Jackson. He is Scoop Jackson. He is the Yoda. And what was the other dude that I don't know of?
Kazoo.
And what is Kazoo? Who's Kazoo?
It's a cartoon character, man. I forget what his actual role was, like what he was doing, but it was a popular cartoon character when I was a kid.
What was it, Scoop?
Kazoo was a guy who was on the Flintstones. He came down. He was the first
like
space
a Martian
dude on the Flintstones that came down to give Barney and Fred insight and intellect.
I gotta pull it up. I gotta pull it up and see this dude, since they said he called you that because your head was so big.
Yeah, he had a big ass helmet on his head with two antennas, and his helmet was like 8 sizes the time of his body. You know, now I got a normal size head, Herb. You know I got a normal size head, but I'm a little dude.
You got normal size head, but a small body.
You grew into it.
Right.
Oh my God, man. Let's take this break before I get in trouble, man. Scoop, thanks again, man. Let's set it up soon, man. As soon as the world is back to some semblance of normalcy, let's get you here in the studio.
Yes, sir. No problem. Anytime. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely appreciate you, man. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard Tucson Warner just been joined for the last hour and a half by Scoop Jackson. We'll be right back after this.
WIFTBPM. Whatever happened to you falling in that grocery store?
Your guess is as good as mine. My auntie said she knew someone. I gave her all the information, but that was 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard anything.
You still got time to talk to the lawyers at the CLN.
The CLN? What's that?
It's the Chicago Legal Network, a group of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of law, especially the laws most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. Plus, all the lawyers at the CLN all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community.
Sounds like I definitely need to contact them.
Say less. I can text you everything you need to know. So if you're ever injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. That's 773-912-3545. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation.
Trigger with instructor Mike on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Why? Why? Because someone told a great guy no. No! God, please, no! No! And he told that no, and he said, fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that no into next opportunity. That's the latest book I just released, What I Tell Myself About No, because children who do not understand the power of rejection and the propulsion that occurs inside it becomes adults who can't take rejection, and your next opportunity could be right around the corner if you just understand how to use that no. And that's why we exist at What's in It for the Black People Media Network, because someone took a no and said, I'm gonna create next opportunity. You're not silencing the voice, because that's what's in it for the black people is the truth. Not always that you want to hear, it's the shit that needs to be said, because our ancestors fought and died to give us the right of access, and who the fuck are you to tell me no? Only on What's in It for the Black People Media Network.
Hard work, we're on the go.
Tune in every Sunday. Don't miss it. Live from the West End for the Black People Media Studios. It is the Kickoff Kickback. Join the conversation with the brothers, Eugene McIntosh, Herb Howard, and myself, Terrence Tomlin.
We got analysis live from the stadium. The brother Joe Lewis will be following through. We got great guests coming in, players, personnel, people.
Say what? We do our thing every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, taking you right up to kickoff.
We picking the full slate of NFL games. We talking fantasy football. Gino got you covered on all the bets. It's a kickback.
Make sure y'all join the conversation. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and continue to help us push the culture forward.
Don't miss it every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, live here from the West End for the Black People Media Studios.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
WIFTBPM.
Welcome back. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. Herb Howard, Toussaint Warner here with you up until 3 o'clock. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to tune in and be a part of the conversation. We spent the first hour and a half of the show talking with the one and only Mr. Scoop Jackson. Scoop, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so very, very much for taking the time. And look,
Okay. Almighty Kazoo, I'd like a big juicy Bronto burger.
A Bronto burger. I ain't heard that in years.
How about $20?
Hey, yo.
So Scoop sent
I want a beautiful new dress for my wife.
Scoop sent the picture of Kazoo, and now that I see the picture, I do recognize him. I had seen him before. And somebody else sent me a picture of it too. And yo, Scoop. Yo, your homies ain't wrong, okay? Let's just say that. They are not wrong, all right? That's absolutely hilarious. Listen, man, get on over to the Woodline. It is located at 1200 East 79th Street. Food, culture, impact. What's in it for the Black People Media is proud to support the Woodline. It is located again, 1200 East 79th Street. Is an innovative economic center for the entire family. Stop by and try their delicious jerk-inspired menu. Plus, get details on their new Igloo dining experience, restaurant, event space, cultural space. For more information about reservations or their COVID-19 friendly space, visit them online at www.thewoodline1200.com, www.thewoodline1200.com. Shout out to Donnell, the whole squad over there at the Woodline, man. They getting a whole lot of things done. They serving the community in a real dope way. Shout out to the sister Emerald Green too, man. Emerald, we got to get Emerald Green on the show, man. She is our partner. She's been on the shows with us before, but she was doing like a lunch giveaway I think it was like every Thursday and Friday.
I saw that, man. I saw that.
I think they were doing like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, something like that over at the Woodline, where they were literally out there in the street just handing out free bag lunches to people. So shout out to the Woodline and to Emerald Green for putting that together. The Woodline continues to put on for the culture, continues to serve the community, and offer a space that is unique. Make sure you get over there and check them out. Plus, the food is fire. The service is dope. The ambiance is amazing. They got the rooftop. They got the igloos. hit them up. Go to the Woodline. Go to www.thewoodline1200.com for more information on how you can get reservations and get over there and take advantage of everything they have to offer at the Woodline. 2.
Well, damn.
Scoop, man. That was a dope interview. That was a dope conversation, man.
Scoop was a dope dude, man.
He really is. He's Chicago to the core, man. Like, when I guess it had been a while since I seen him, and I ran into him over at another restaurant over on the south side, and we chopped it up a little bit. Found out, he was still, around the way, which I was like, yeah, that's super, super dope, man. Because when it came time for me to figure out where I wanted to live, I was like, I want to live in the same place I grew up in, and so I respected that. I didn't really expect that to hear him say that, because he had, just had done so much dope stuff. I was like, he probably might go do something else, but he's Chicago for real, man. I always appreciate getting the opportunity to chop it up with Chicago royalty in that way.
Man, what's interesting when he was talking about the now, right? Mm-hmm. And him having the opportunity to do the what's the thing he said he was out right now? I can't remember. New City, mm-hmm. Right? And he was like, it means so much to him because, he's never had the opportunity to do something for the crib in that way.
Yeah, Black Chicago edition.
Yeah, and I thought about that, and I thought about that because, like, I got this love affair with Chicago that just, like, undeniable. Like, Chicago's like a family member to me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different.
And I've been going down this rabbit hole since the death of that Shorty King Von.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't stop myself. I keep tuning in to more and more information about not just King Von specifically, but just about drill and the culture that's attached to it, right? And the little crews that kind of rise up around it. And the last week, G, I've learned more about this whole culture than I've ever paid attention to.
I feel like the first big song that popped off was that Lil JoJo thing with the BDK.
Right.
Right? That BDK song really did, it kind of, it was different, right? Obviously, you had Chief Keef and all that and get that commercial and wide stream success off of it. But just in terms of it affecting the streets of Chicago and the different neighborhoods and different cliques, that BDK song was different. It was different because of all the hot rappers that were coming up out of that drill scene were 300. They were BDs, you know what I'm saying? And so for him to put that song out as BDK, then it just started this whole...
It gave him a natural adversary.
Yeah, a natural adversary. And then sure enough, JoJo got killed. And then you had them cats, Rondo and them, Rondo number 9, they end up getting slammed for like 40 years about something else, right? And it was just on and on and on and on and on, and Ewald and all these other cats that's just caught up in that game. And because of social media and because of YouTube and because of the ability to say, I got a phone and I can get on YouTube, I'm a rapper now. I'm gonna make a video, right? And all these videos, these weren't high-tech videos. These was niggas in apartments with 30-shot clips and drums and all that shit, posting videos saying, fuck you, I'll come kill you, and dropping their locations, and they pull up.
But even outside of that, just going back to the conversation the school was just having, right? It's like this affinity for the crib.
Yeah.
And because I've been going down this rabbit hole, I've been kind of getting introduced to a whole new wave, a whole new culture of what's the next generation of Chicago. And their perspective of Chicago is such a limited one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you start to break down how these beefs is going and how these neighborhoods is going and how these issues start. Like me and you, and it's not a laughing matter, but we do make fun of the shit.
Yeah.
Like we come in here and we talk about, I'm not from 63rd, I'm from 65th, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And we like, man, that's one block away.
It's crazy.
But as I get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into these goddamn conversations and this culture, all of their damn problems is one block away. All of their beefs are one block away.
Oh, yeah.
Their whole perspective is a very limited one. And I was just thinking about it the whole time. And what's more important, right? A lot of these cats, some of the major players in regards to like how they leveraging the streets, they from my neighborhood specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm on the internet and they showing pictures of these little dudes. I be like, I know this little motherfucker here.
Yeah.
Right? I done seen this little dude right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I was just thinking like, man, how do we create some level of access to provide some level of exposure?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think that their worlds are so limited. That's the only way you can have these kind of problems with the dude who lives directly down the street from you. Like most of these cats had to grow up going to the same grammar school. They had to be friends at one point in time. They at least know each other.
At least classmates.
Yeah, at least classmates.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we get to that? I don't know, man. It's just some level of exposure that they missing. Like their whole world is placated by these 2-3 block radiuses, and I'm like, man, this city got so much to offer. It's such a beautiful place.
Yeah, but we also talk about that all the time too, right? You don't know what you don't know until you've been exposed to other things. You don't really know that. The whole world is just what it is. And so if your world is literally from 63rd to 66th Street and it's from King Drive to Cottage, then that's your fucking world. And outside of that is not a reality. And for me, growing up, until I got to high school, my world was from 67th to 79th, from Stony to the water. That was Earth to me. Nothing else outside of that was really a real thing. But what's different now is the opportunities that the social media and the YouTube culture and all that shit provides. Because now you have these street dudes who are perfectly comfortable and willing to go on camera and talk this shit, right? And drop my location and all this pull-up shit and all this, YouTube and going live and that kind of shit, right? That wasn't really a part that it obviously wasn't a part of the culture when I was growing up. And so what I mean by that is, I think that even if we had a show like this back then, it would have been next to impossible to get the people who was caught up in the streets to come on and talk about the shit. Whereas now, I don't really think the niggas care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of what they do anyway.
It's what they want to do.
And so I say that to say that there is an opportunity for us to then be able to step into that space and have those real conversations and try to be impactful in some of that shit, right? Whereas it used to be, you only way you can get pull up with a bag if you want my attention. Now it's like, I'll give you my attention. This is kind of what I do anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they use that shit to spread their messages, to run their beefs. You made this point on here before that you got shorties out here beefing with cats they've never fucking seen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's mind blowing to me, right? Even if they are a block away or around the corner, I don't really have a real problem with you. But I heard you say BDK on a song, or I saw you comment under or somebody else's song that said BDK. Then I got at you, you got back at me. Now we're beefing, but this beef is actually happening on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have a problem with you. But
that's another thing, man. They all telling themselves. That's like the whole goal. Let me go do this so I can tell you I did this.
Yeah, these cops. Listen, the cop. You got internet cops. You got the social media police with larger departments than the street police. Now I ain't gotta walk the beat. I don't really gotta know what's going on. I just log in. Y'all motherfuckers gonna tell me what's going on. Y'all gonna tell me who hate who into it with who. Y'all gonna go live and say, oh yeah, I'm in JoJo world, or I'm in Tuka world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, that's the culture now. And I think that, because they are so comfortable on camera, which is odd as fuck to me, right? You talk about any like old school street shit, the cameras, get out of here with your cameras, fam. All these pictures and all that, nobody was for that. Nobody what Bump said on that one song? Tell Smack, better not come around here on no camera shit. Like, and talking about Smack with the Smack DVDs when they used to literally just do the DVDs and pull up in people's hood. And Bump had a song like, Tell Smack, better not come around here on no camera shit. But he also said in that I think it might have been the fucking next line, he said, young niggas, dumb niggas, you should know. Your ass old enough to have a gun, you old enough to have a funeral. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of how it was. And you see these shorties, like we was talking about the whole 300, 600 thing, and how, the killing Tuka played a big role in that. And we talking about how he was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? You talking about a whole big ass motherfucking war, and one of the biggest parts of it was a dude getting killed that was 15. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they all super young, man. They all super underexposed. They lacking a whole lot.
Where they underexposed to important shit, and they overexposed to a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, but it's I don't know, man. I just just listening to Scoop and just that pride and that ode to the city, and I know I live a lot of my life in that same way. Like, I legitimately look at Chicago as another family member. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's like, how are these kids missing out on, I don't know, that value? You know what I mean? Seeing that beauty or knowing anything about the other side of just what the city has to offer. And they just got such a limited view of the world. It just hurts my heart. But just I swear to God, man, I haven't been able to turn away. I didn't learn so much stuff about these little dudes. It's like, are you kidding me?
It's different.
Like, Gene's in the comments right now talking about one of the kids, 051 Melly. I know this little dude.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who he was in that world.
Right.
Well, he dead now.
Right.
But I didn't know who he was in that world. But this little dude be around the crib. Well, was around the crib.
Right.
I mean, they from my area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just was blowing my mind.
To immerse yourself in the drill music culture or to just observe it from that particular perspective, you would think that these motherfuckers like 051 Melly or Rondo Number 9, you would think these motherfuckers was RoboCop. You know what I'm saying? You would think these motherfuckers was some big superhero, huge gun. Like, these are fucking shorties. And we talk about all the time how fucking malnutrition they are. They little as shit. You know what I'm saying? They thin as hell. They short as you walk past every day on the street.
Every day.
And it's not until you dig into this shit, like, oh, this.
But we
this
walk
the
past
shorty,
them
like,
every day. But in the hood, they famous because of this kind of like. It was
I
like
know,
it was like 15 million views on this shit, man.
Two. We talk about it all the time about there not being any humanity in being a black male, right? There's no value in simply being a black male. There could be value in being a black homosexual male, right? Or we talk about there being value in being other forms of black, right? But just to be a black male ain't enough. And so they find, if they're not a homosexual, right, then where can I find, I can find my value in being a shooter. And now I got a little notoriety. I got a little name. I got a little bit more respect. I still don't really have shit of value. I still don't really have shit in my pocket. I still don't really have shit in my stomach. But I have a little bit more humanity. I can walk around with my head held high a little bit until somebody and blow it off my fucking shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and even that, man, they even getting used there because you think about it, you getting 15 million views on YouTube, you can turn that into capital. That should be capital. But they're not even getting money off of this shit.
No. How? You know what I'm saying? How would they know that? You know what I'm saying? That's not even why they got into it. You know what I'm saying? They just got into it just because that is where they can find some value at. Here's why I can be. They trolling, right? What they call it, clout chasing, right? They clout chasing. And if I can get clout off talking shit to you in the comments, or if I can get clout off shooting up a block, then so fucking be it, right? They know that the homicide conviction rate or arrest rate even is like 25%. They fucking know that. I got 75% chance of shooting up whatever block I want to in this city, and ain't nobody gonna do a damn thing about it.
Yeah, but I guess, like I said, I can't turn away, right? But I guess it's really blowing because I didn't really realize this really breaks down to like 3 neighborhoods.
Hell yeah.
Right? It's like Woodlawn, Inglewood, and Washington Park. And once you get past that scene don't really exist. Not of relevance. I'm not saying there's nobody doing nothing in other spaces. But these are the 3 neighborhoods. And all of this national conversation legitimately spawns or is wrapped around about 3 characters in real life.
2. Where is the Obama Center going? How close to Woodlawn?
Yeah, they out of there.
You know what I'm saying?
They out of there.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have to drive down the value of a given neighborhood if you want to come and then take it over, right?
Yeah, they out of there, bro.
It's a natural step to gentrification. You make everybody else demean or diminish that particular area. You make everybody else scared to live over there, right? Let that shit go to hell. And you come by everything for the low. And then next time you look up, everything is starting in the low 500s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the answer's out there, but it just I swear to God, it's just been blowing my mind, G. It's just been blowing my mind.
And it should. And it should. And then the question then becomes, what type of opportunities are there for us to then get into it and try and really make some impact, right? In terms of like, yo, stop the bullshit. Like it's like just sitting there like waving y'all hands like yo, like it's like trying to wake up a motherfucker that's knocked out sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you gotta wake up, bro. Like this shit is not like this ain't real. What y'all doing right now is not no real shit, bro. This is a game that y'all playing that nobody can fucking win, bro. But to your point, like you've been making for the past week or so, in that world, King Von won. In that world, FBG Duck won. Right?
And that's
fucking dead.
I know
before
there's
30.
a deeper conversation, and that's kind of what I was kind of pushing toward with Scoop too, right? In regards to like the capitalism conversation. In a lot of ways, you know, Vaughn went to jail for, I said this to, I think we was talking to Maze, but Vaughn went to jail for his whole teenage years from 15 to 21 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Came home for a year and a half and turned a year and a half on the streets into a couple $1 million, right? So by any means necessary. When I say by any means necessary, I just mean it in the sense of like selling his story. And his lifestyle was by any means necessary. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't think his value system is any different than the guy that works corporate for 45 years trying to do the same thing and get the house in the suburbs. I think it's based on the same thing. As a matter of fact, I might have a little bit more respect for his value system in a lot of ways, just from some of the stuff I've been learning over the last couple of days. It's not a necessity too, but he had a commitment to the community in a way, what he deemed as his community at least. You know what I mean? Like he got his first. Duck. I'm talking about Vaughn. I don't know about Duck like that to say yeah and nay. But I know he got his first little bag, and the first thing he did was come to the block and legitimately was giving out. He gave away his whole bag. You know what I mean? So in his mind, it's warped as hell. But in his mind, I'm doing this for my people,
100%.
right? I'm doing this to undergird and secure and create some level of safety and sanctity for my people.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's just interesting though, man. I really, I want to talk to some of these shorties now.
We must.
Like,
all right, let's do it.
Like for real.
Let's do it then. Fuck it. Let's do it. So I want to have this conversation about this kind of this chicken or the egg thing, right? I mention that all the time because I think that shit is relevant in so many different things, right? You talk about the music that goes out and then the impact or influence that it has on the culture there around, right? And I don't know that the culture is responding to the music or the music is responding to the culture, right? And Brother Salim just said that next Friday on MUWAKKIL'S World, I just lost it. He's going to be talking to Brother Kwabena. And Brother Kwabena is leading the Cleanse the Airwaves movement, right? And he's always talking about
Kwabena before. He's reached out to me.
Yeah. I've had an opportunity to chop it up with Brother Kwabena before too, and I don't 100% agree with him, right?
Me neither.
Because I just have differences on artists telling their stories, right? So it's one thing to say, oh, these rappers are putting out this trash, and not that I disagree with it, but what I think they're doing is telling their authentic story. And I think that what we need to do is make sure that they have a different story to tell, right? And if all he understands by the time he's 13, 14, 15 is shoot shit up, make whatever I can, then how am I going to tell him to not write that? How's he going to write about going to college, or how's he going to write about starting a business? How's he going to write about black love when ain't nobody ever showed him no black love, right? Start there first. Now, I get what Brother Kwabena is on, and I don't have a problem with that piece, but I kind of understand where they're coming from, right? You poets or artists in general, right? Artists tell their stories, and if that's their story, then that's the story you're going to get. And unless we do something to change them from having that particular experience, that is the story we will continue to get from them. Now, is there another conversation to be had about why these record labels, these major record labels, choose to allow that type of music to go out in mass like it does? Yeah, that's a conversation to be had there, because there are a lot of quote unquote conscious hip-hop artists, right, who talk about positivity in the black community and shit, but they aren't going to push that out. That's not what you're going to hear on the radio all day long. You're going to hear the drill shit. You're going to hear the shoot 'em up bang shit. You're going to hear the stripper woman shit. Like that's what you're going to hear, because that's what they put out, and they have their own particular agenda for why they put those artists out as opposed to more positive, influential artists.
Yeah, see, but I don't rock with that theory in regards to, like, I don't want to put the pressure back on the same capitalist system, right? Because the same capitalist system is going to do what it does. If it makes dollars, it makes sense, no matter what. So they don't have any responsibility to our community. We are the only people that have a responsibility to our community.
I agree.
Right? So my backlash or my issue, and I don't want to even say issue, is that the Kwabena conversation for me is more about the language, right? My conversation is about the intent. I don't give a shit about the language. What's the intention? What are you trying to get across? You know what I mean? So you could look at some of the greatest literary works in the history of mankind. The language is trash, but the intention was important.
Was pure, right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it from that standpoint. But again, I only got here because I just been on this for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And then Scoop say, man, how proud he was to be a part of the city, to be involved in something that gives him leeway to communicate about the city.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at these shorties and, like, their version or their
experience
their
with the
grasp
city
of the city is legitimately 3-4 blocks. It's legitimately freshman year of high school, because I don't even want to go past that, because most of them not going past that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they limit themselves to, like, this whole national conversation is legitimately about Diet High School.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, this shit is about Diet High School when you get to the center of it. You know what I mean? That's wild as hell to me, man.
Listen, man, we got to get up out of here, man. I want to thank all of you all for tuning in. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, we appreciate y'all so very, very much. I didn't get as deep into the comments as I would like to get, so I'll go back through tonight and try to respond to some of the stuff. If y'all was actually sending some stuff to us that y'all needed us to respond to, I will get to that tonight. Tonight I'll be watching the Bears game. Bear down. Hey, Gino, Bears. Anyway, man.
Do the Bears even got an offensive line yet?
They got some duct tape and
they
some
got
glue.
Like a 1 week made offensive line.
They got some duct tape and some glue and a couple screws they threw together to try to protect somebody. We'll see how they get done. I'm picking the Bears. I already picked the Bears, man, on the kickoff kickback. Make sure y'all rocking with me and the Bigs every Sunday at 10 a.m. on the kickoff kickback. Coming up next is Chicago famous Mike Love and the Diz here with you till 6 p.m. I was about to say till 3 to 6. They're here with you till 6 p.m. every single weekday. Y'all make sure y'all keep it right here. Thank y'all so very, very much. Special shout out to Scoop Jackson for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Look forward to having him back on the show soon, too. We got to get on that thing and getting the shorties in here, man. Let's get them in here. Let's chop it up. Let's give them the opportunity, give them the platform, say whatever the fuck they want to say, and put it out. You with it? I know you with it. It was your idea. We got to go, man. For Tucson One and for Sonia Escobar doing all the hard work behind the glass, my name is Herb Howard. We will see y'all back here Wednesday at 1 p.m. Until then, y'all be good to each other. Peace.
WIIFTV PM.